In the year 1607, a small group of English settlers crossed the vast Atlantic Ocean, driven by dreams of wealth, adventure, and glory. They landed in Virginia, establishing what would become the first permanent English colony in America, Jamestown. At first, the new land looked promising, but very soon, the settlers realized they had stepped into a world that was far harsher than their imagination. The area they had chosen to build their fort was swampy, plagued with mosquitoes carrying deadly diseases like malaria. The water was brackish, food was limited, and the settlers had little knowledge of farming in such conditions. Hunger gnawed at their bodies. Sickness swept through the camp, and death became a daily companion. Out of the original 100 who set foot in Virginia, more than half were dead within months. Among the chaos and despair, hope arrived in the form of an unlikely savior, a Native American child named Pocahontas, the daughter of the powerful Powhatan chief. Barely 10 years old, she displayed courage far beyond her years. Time and again, she carried baskets of food to the starving Englishmen, saving them from the brink of extinction. For a while, it seemed like two worlds could coexist, the natives and the newcomers, bound together by fragile exchanges of food and friendship. But human greed knows no bounds. The settlers began demanding more land and resources, straining their relationship with the Powhatan Confederacy. Tensions rose, trust eroded, and what began as cautious friendship turned into hostility. This growing animosity reached its darkest point during the brutal winter of 1609 to 1610, remembered in history as the Starving Time. Trapped inside their wooden fort while native warriors surrounded them, the settlers could not hunt or trade. Supplies ran out, and desperation turned into horror. Horses, dogs, cats, and vermin were slaughtered for food. Even the leather from boots was boiled to create some form of nourishment. When nothing else remained, some resorted to cannibalism, exhuming bodies from shallow graves. By spring, more than 400 colonists had dwindled to barely 60. Jamestown was not just weak, it was on the verge of being erased forever. Just when the settlement seemed doomed, salvation came once again from across the sea. In 1610, a new governor, Lord de la Warr, arrived with fresh men, weapons, and strict discipline. He reorganized the colony, enforced order, and instilled military structure. Jamestown survived, but this survival came at a cost. The Powhatan tribes, who once supplied food, were now seen as obstacles. Under de la Warr's command, colonists launched brutal raids, burning native villages, destroying crops, and escalating the conflict into open war. Caught in this clash of civilizations was Pocahontas. In 1613, she was kidnapped by the English, used as a bargaining chip to force peace with her father. During her captivity, she was converted to Christianity, given the name Rebecca, and later married to John Rolfe, an English settler. Their marriage has often been painted as a romantic bridge between two cultures, but in truth, it was more a political alliance than a love story. For a short time, it brought an uneasy peace to the land. While human lives were caught in struggle, the soil of Virginia revealed what would become its true treasure, not gold or silver, but tobacco. John Rolfe successfully cultivated a sweeter strain of the crop that grew well in Virginia's climate. Suddenly, Jamestown had an export that Europe craved. Ships loaded with tobacco crossed the Atlantic, filling England's coffers with wealth. What began as a desperate settlement was now transforming into a booming colony, driven by the addictive power of this golden leaf. Prosperity reshaped the colony. In 1619, English women arrived, sold as wives to the settlers, ensuring that families, not just soldiers, would build roots in America. Children were born, and Jamestown began to resemble a permanent society rather than a temporary outpost. But that same year, another ship docked, carrying Africans who were sold as laborers. At first, they were treated as indentured servants, working alongside Europeans. But with time, their status hardened into something far darker. That year marked the grim birth of slavery in English America, an institution that would cast a long and painful shadow over centuries to come. Jamestown, once a colony gasping for survival, had now become both the seed of prosperity and the root of America's greatest tragedy. The kindness of a child, the hunger of desperate men, the discovery of tobacco, and the arrival of slaves, each moment built the foundation of a new world. But beneath its promise lay sacrifice, exploitation, and injustice. The story of Jamestown was no longer just about survival. It was the beginning of a nation, born from hope, greed, and sorrow intertwined, to be continued